Hi, Chris here. I wake and baked. Mountain National Forest, quiet as anything. So, I am recording this in like dead silence. So, if you're around noisy stuff, I may be like way too quiet for you. So, noise warning. It's gonna be a quiet one. You can't turn this up, you won't hear me. Anyway, what am I offering today? Well, I had a few thoughts about Naruto. Um, I had said Naruto was stupid because that's how my mom and my parents treated it. And, like, my parents didn't believe in me at all. And they wanted to see proof, just like Boruto. They wanted to see some goddamn proof before they try. It's like all the things I said I wanted to do, they said, no, you can't do that. That's not possible. And all the things that I didn't want to do, they forced me into, all the while saying, our parents did this to us. We know, and we hated it too. And I'm like, why are you doing it to me? So it is like this kind of like humanity has this shit's rolling downhill hazing stuff. Religion is a part of that. Countries are a part of that. It's basically we're living to what happened yesterday because they keep reminding us about it because that's how their story of who they are is wrapped up in the nouns and the verbs of it. And so it is kind of funny that one of the ways to wrest power from the elite has been the internet because you can say anything about anything, but it is true that money pays for articles, money creates hype, right? Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Naruto. Naruto has a few interesting things in it, like uh, the fact that there's only four Hokages deep is it's a mirror of Japan, right? It like how much of a Naruto is like here's a real interesting issue is that the Japanese are proud and they might actually resent um, the fact that we bombed them twice, right? I've wondered that. Did the Japanese do secret? Are there subliminals in games that are anti-American? Right? Are there subliminals in Japanese games that are designed to hurt us in the American market, or do they want to be our friends? I think, and hopefully, they want to be our friends. Um, yeah. Looking at the symbols, it is very interesting how yeah, it, I'm just high. I just kind of want to savor that thought. Like, how much are they actually really talking to us? Because one of the things I realized is the tailed beasts represent nuclear weapons because they get divided. Right, Minato, right? They heroize us. Yeah, the Japanese, they heroize us. We straight up beat them and gave them a new education, and their people bought it and said that's the way it is now. Do they show any signs of resistance? No, the Japanese are like, we're happy. Going good here. I want to get some free money printed. I'm going to make a ruckus until people start paying me off. You know what I mean? They're so smart. Just overthrow a government and they'll pay you money to be nice. Anyway, yeah, all the tailed beasts represent nuclear weapons, and the Leaf Village is only 4 Hokages deep because it is indicative of Japan, which has a brand new history, right? We ended the monarchy. After Japan attacked us in World War II, we bombed them with a new super weapon. We destroyed two whole cities. Look at Pain, right? Look at, like, yeah, it's deep. Like, Naruto's about what just happened the past 100 years, right? And, yeah. It's also kind of multicultural. Like, I like that they did the breeding game. Um, they're still afraid. I really feel like Japan would benefit from the whole world right now. Is not it would benefit from a complete removal or abdication of what we call anti-substance laws, because most of the planet is just about to chill the fuck out and get it on in a great way, in a way that we needed. You know what I mean? Like, the problem is that people are basically just too stressed and they expect too much, you know? it only takes a certain amount of food and organization before everything's done and nothing else needs to be doing. But we don't want to make it so the people who are doing all the work are the only tired ones. You know what I mean? Something like that. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of all the substances. Like, do it smart, right? Start simple and build slowly. You know what I mean? It'll last longer. But anyway, yeah. You hear the gunshots? Gunshots go for about 2 miles. The human voice only goes for about 30 feet. So, of course, it can go further if you're aligned with that, right? Oh yeah, that was one of the things. As part of the ninjutsu or the jinjutsu, so Naruto has it has illusion levels that their third eye mastery techniques can touch into. And so reality is known as illusion, especially in their culture. Reality and illusion are the same thing, especially reality and emptiness. They're the same thing. And this is done to encourage uh, this sort of transcendental activation, which is like an awareness. It's like when people are shouting, find God, they mean get that feeling something's here with you. And it's possible, definitely, when you smoke some herb. And the thing is that once you smoke some herb and connect, the thing manifests. And so what all the prohibitionists don't know is here's what the prohibitionists did. They said, it's not like me, I hate it. That's all it is. They said, I don't know enough about it. I think it's evil. I hate it. Let's get rid of it. No, they're all bad. Look, there's a disgusting one. And then they show some homeless person who's all strung out and dirty, just laying down. You wouldn't even understand some of those people. Some of those people just like don't care about being outside. It's just convenient for them. They just don't mind, right? You're like, oh, they'd rather be somewhere. You'd rather be on a couch with all your friends winning, right? Well, how hard is it? The easiest way to get friends is to have money, right? If you don't have money, yeah, no friends. Yeah, this is where you shoot. It's a day off Sunday. I'm here to worship the Lord. Yeah, I'm an Iraq veteran. It does kind of tense me out, but in a way it's calming because it is, it's calming. I listen for it, but I don't have to do anything. And so I like do a mental exercise where I'm going to tell myself to relax or it's okay. It's safe. Self comforting is like, I would be great to have a dog, especially a really comforting dog who's like a really good friend and like just wants to lick faces. Oh god, that'd be amazing. I love face washes. I had huskies since I was a baby. Like I'll not a baby, but a kid. I'll always love it. I'll always love it. Yeah. Anyway, what else do I want to talk about? Yeah, life and dream being similar is there. That's what Sharingan is. But the thing that I don't like about Naruto is that they're constantly. I mean, like, have you actually ever been cut before? It's an awful experience. It's a nightmare. Like, people are pretending to be way tougher than they are. So probably like one of the biggest problems is like male exaggeration, penis envy, uh, obliteration doctrines. Like, just get rid of them. I don't want to hear them. Don't want to understand them. I think they should just go. Like, those sorts of things are like some of the most devastating results of the past few hundred years have been because of that. And it's important to remember that we're not children of God and God doesn't watch this place, right? If we watch how nature actually works, it is not kumbaya. And the idea that we had fallen is it's a cool theory, but it's really like, you know, Mass Effect or it's sci-fi. It's inventable. I lost a burrito in here yesterday. Yeah, I had 2 burritos in a bag, and I ate one burrito, and the second burrito is who knows where that went. I have no idea. Maybe I ate it. I think I ate it. I looked pretty hard for it this morning. I was like, "Where's my other burrito? I want to eat a burrito." They tell you not to eat. I've known people because of religion who say they don't eat and don't shit. And of course they're all frauds. Every single one of them are frauds. But the thing is that it's recommended by religion because the guy is just like he's hoking you, right? Religion is such a hoax. I grew up in my culture today. In my culture today, in most places of the world, it's still socially acceptable to say the Bible's real and Jesus is coming back. And the truth is, the Bible's a hoax. No God is writing through the man telling you to say what he said, right? It's just not true. You know why? It doesn't give a good world history. The world history is way too short. Yeah, the world history the reincarnation religions gave was way too long. And the world history that the creation story people, because the existence of the dinosaurs, it's so cool. Like, yeah, the first dinosaur wasn't discovered till 1840. I've heard that fact given before, something like that. So, yep. Ah, itchy face. Anyway, yeah. Naruto, yeah, Naruto is about. I've been watching Naruto since I was in high school. You know what I mean? Like I've seen Naruto for a long time. And these guys, this clown was yesterday was going, bro, you've never seen Naruto before. You need to watch it. Like, shut the fuck up. I've seen Naruto. You can't prove it to him. You go like, I've seen all of it. No, you haven't. Oh, shut up. I want to take a giant iron bar and hit that person, right? But that's what Naruto's about. Naruto's a fight, right? Naruto's a fight. People who don't see it the same way, who can't listen, people who are motivated by pain, people who just want to take. It's our right to have it. We don't like you and we want your stuff. You know. Yeah, you can be good, but good doesn't necessarily get you to the future. So that's like kind of been the story in life is that we want to say God made it and we want to say it's divine, but it only is divine at the height of a trip, both love and well, who knows? Nah, there's a power. There's gotta be a power. There's gotta be a power. There's gotta be. I've just seen things manifest. And it may not even be that, right? It may just be hive groupthink because of like electromagnetism. Because if we evolved on the planet, then we'd have subtle senses that are real to reality, right? If there's a quantum energy, why can't a cell find quantum? You know what I mean? I'm sure there's going to be things discovered by science that like just basically give us ET powers and more. Because the actual yogic power I've seen is insane. Like, you think you're creative? They've moved. Weirdos. They think they're seriously just did a perimeter around me and started shooting. Maybe they're trying to get to a better spot or something. Loud as fuck, no matter where you are. Yeah, it's difficult to talk about high brainy subjects for very long. It does use a lot of energy. Yeah, I used to be really skinny when I was especially smart. I think one of the reasons I started smoking weed was to make me dumber, and it made me dumb enough I wasn't like anymore. I was able to actually get it out just by relaxing. Weed helped me. It did. Weed helped me. And I trusted all those fucking pigs who said, "Oh, you can't trust it. It's no good. It rots your brain." Bullshit, bro. Like the reason you kept it hidden was pure social control, 100%. It had nothing to do with it's just dog and leash training. Anger, people who are influenced by the Bible. Okay, cut a piece of your dick off and said you're going to hell, and look what the Bible says. Read what the Bible says. We are still in the perspective the Bible's the truth. The Bible is not the truth. The Bible lacks historicity. That's a huge red flag. The Bible not having a good grasp on what literally happened before its authorship means it's not the words of God. And it's a shock to people because they are betting 100% out in the bright of day that this is God's earth and he is holy and he's watching you. Well, holiness just means unassailability. We're right no matter what. Right? We're the cleanest. You're dirty. Well, I've seen the face of God in dirt. I've seen the face of God in dirt while miracles were happening. You know a miracle's happening when you don't know how to, like, this is how you know an angel's helping you. A lot of musicians are just good because they pray, right? They pick up their instrument and they play things and they literally say, I don't know how I'm playing it, but it's perfect as it is, right? It's interesting stuff. Yeah. Time and space are modular with thought. There's a lot of temporal things which will occur, which this dragonfly visited and gave me a view. I was looking at him earlier. Yeah, there's a transcendental existential power, and I guess, yeah, if you take it, you become what they call bad. You become bad. There's a power here, and this is from Christianity. God is not like this place. This place was made by Satan. This place is evil. You have to pass God's test to get eternal life. If you fail God's test and choose the world, you'll have power. You'll have worldly power here, but you won't go on to forever. It's like a moral test, right? That's how they put it. But the problem is that the dinosaurs, and just like scientists have looked at like riverbeds, and they go like, how quickly does silt deposit? It's at such a short rate that they can actually look at sediment deposits going down and go like, this is how old this is. And it just gave a history that was so much longer than the Bible. You realize that here's what the Bible is. They found seashells at high altitude because rock moves over time. They didn't know that. So he said there was a great flood. He said the world was created in 7 days because we have a 7-day week. He just assumed that's how it was. And then he said, in the 8th day you got to cut the foreskin off your baby. It's uncomfortable, but it's designed to hate men. It's designed to abuse you. Yeah, so the Bible's a genital mutilation cult. And all the stories, Mother Mary, like, Jesus was born of a virgin because the author wasn't comfortable with sex. The Bible forbids big dicks. Like, what? I've seen porn before. I've seen a little blonde girl take a fucking dick that went up to her ribs, like he laid it on her. It went up to her ribs. She took that thing to the hilt like it was nothing. Like, hate big dicks, like, that's the only type we need. You know what I mean? And so it's really just the thief. The thief, and the Bible is a thief. The Bible is a thief. It says, God told me to tell you, and that's the lie. That never happened. That never happened, and that's a fact. It doesn't give a true history, and then you see it's like, oh yeah, there's been an error. A snake convinced the first 2 people to betray God, and we're all going to hell unless you get the blood sacrifice of God's only son. It's Spider-Man, folks. It's Spider-Man. But I grew up in a world where that was literal truth. Where that was as reliable as any information we've ever told you. The dinosaurs and Jesus are both real. You know what I mean? It's just like, it was like, if you notice, like, my internet history for the past few years has been derogatory, condemnatory, and mocking. I just don't see how people really think they have a grasp of things. They don't. And the less they know, the more sure they are they have to test their knowledge in the world. So, even fly buttholes are disgusting. Flies have like this big... Yeah, I know what it is. It's the fight for mating, the fight for mates. Men are doing it constantly. All those gay men are all fake. They're just trying to get close to the women. It's all get in by any angle. And the reason they're programmed that way is only that which bred survived. And that which bred was not necessarily that which was the best. That which bred is that which was what made it, which is what got there. That means all the selfish people. That means all the cheaters. That means that's why the Bible was like, you marry and you don't violate this. And so the interesting thing about the Bible is someone's attempt to control people to what they thought they ought to be, probably because of the mistakes they saw them make and the horrible things they've done. I mean, I remember being a kid, every year of childhood, is pretty much like I got targeted and sniped by every boy I knew. They had to make sure I had no sense of self-esteem, that I had no sense of my own personal integrity and wellness, and they did that to make sure I was weak and didn't go for the girls, so that they would have the opportunity to do it, right? That's what time it is. Bill Clinton was doing it. Bill Clinton was off fucking 14-year-olds on Pedo Island while he was sending young men to jail for sleeping with a 17-year-old while they were 18. I'm sure he got presidential pardons, like, hey, please pardon me. We're only 9 months apart. And Bill Clinton said, no, fuck you. I'm going to Pedo Island. You don't touch my girls. That's how men are. Charlemagne. Charlemagne, in his time, I have Charlemagne blood. I have Charlemagne blood. I'm part of the Charlemagne's descendancy. Charlemagne said, I'm the most special guy. I get to have all the women. He had king's right with all the girls, and now nobody but Charlemagne's blood exists. Right? Charlemagne thought he was the ultimate and coolest, and he said only I should do it. He didn't ask others. He didn't give any other man a fair assumption. He said, I ought to be the king. Same thing with Genghis Khan. So, yeah, it is kind of funny that the Native Americans and white people fighting in America is kind of a representation of Genghis Khan and Charlemagne, which I find very fascinating genetically, yeah. But, so what happens when, so let's say I'm the tremendous douchebag and I say, I'm the best, I get all the girls, because that means every other man doesn't get love in his life. He never gets love in a family? What? That's a little harsh, right? Or you get the ugly women, I'll have all the pretty ones. And that's what they're trying to do. Anyway, that's what the dick game's about. Because you can have a dick that's too big. I was in the army. I've seen people with dicks this big as a fist to their knees. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want one that big? You gotta if you want to be competitive. And then what are you talking about? You talking about a woman that's just like all vagina inside? Like, what the fuck is even happening with you people? That's why the Bible was like, stop it with the big dick thing. That thing is for making kids only. That's been an old school value through Greco-Roman times. Yeah, they actually espouse tiny dicks. They like small penises because it's not about the sensual pleasure for them. Maybe less is more, but it's about mating. It's about making a kid. You don't want to be going out there just wasting that stuff all the time. The evolutionary view is that you want to breed and win no matter what, you know, and sex trends can take off with themselves, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's not really anything to do with Naruto. It kind of is. They had breeding. I like the breeding. I like Inoji. I want to see what Inoji's about. My crush was Fangirl, so I kind of really hate that her son Shikamaru just looks like Shikamaru. It's just like, fuck Shikamaru. Um, and then what else? What other interesting breeding? I hate Sasuke's daughter. Annoying character. Weak. Sharingan power is such a snore. I hate it. It's pretty. They're pretty much just evil. It's just the Sith. Like that's all Uchiha are. Um, Naruto Uzumaki. His dad's still cool. Naruto sucks. And Boruto. Why does he have all that paperwork? Doesn't he know how to delegate? He wanted to be Hokage and then it was awful. No, here's the thing about Naruto. Naruto should have become Hokage. Because he does sexy jutsu, Naruto should have become a king pimp player. He would have had a ton of women, right? He's a war hero. Naruto unified the whole world and was the top hero character of all of ninjadom. You know what I mean? Like Naruto is a king. Naruto is a king. He's got the top highest tailed beast. He has the most tailed tail beast, doesn't he? Is it 9 or only or they're 12? I can't remember. But yeah. Naruto would have been a pimp. Naruto should have had a ton of kids and he should be living like a royal king. Konoha should just be like full of gold, you know what I mean? And uh I feel like the whole marriage thing just comes down to, yeah, you want to give everyone a chance, which doesn't make any sense evolutionarily. You don't. You want, maybe bloodlines. Yeah, it is. Society is better if the men are doing useful things rather than fighting. So maybe gay is an advantage, right? If men loved and cared about each other, wouldn't it be a more efficient population? They don't have to hate each other and fight. They could be like, I love you. We're all going. Yeah. The idea that evolution works by scarcity and competition and variety means that species are always moving in a certain direction. Whatever's useful at the time or whatever's successful. If everything that breeds succeeds and there's no major selection impetus, it's the way it is doesn't change. Like how are those mud things? Like there's some fish in the sea that they say haven't evolved for 300 million years. Like what? How do you know that? How do you know that? I got questions. You know what I mean? See, if in future time it turns out evolution isn't true and people don't believe it, my apologies. To me, it looked like the biggest discovery. To me, it was like seeing behind the curtain. It's like all the religious men were going, "Aha! Behold, it's this!" And they're just like hands in your pockets. Like, if you don't know any, you ought to look into street scams and stuff like that, or like any life of any criminal, because the techniques they use to rob you are just like the Bible. The Bible was written by an old man. He wanted sex control. He didn't want any young men to have any power, and he did believe in, the power of God, but he basically pushes you into it and says, "You find that yourself. I'm here testing you. I'm a warrior. I know what time it is." I heard that from an old man once, and at first I hated it because he was just being a jerk, but I kind of like have respected it later. I was like, yeah, I know what time it is. I know what fucking time it is. It's snake o'clock. It's fucking fight 30. It's beef o'clock. You know what I mean? People do that. Two men look at the same hill and they both go, "That's my hill. What are you doing here?" You know, that's why they like, you get in your box. No, what's interesting is that we're culling prison populations. Basically, if you can't behave yourself, you're going to jail. If you can't behave yourself, you're gonna be in a cement and steel cage. You know what I mean? And that means you're not gonna be. I would be fine with no breeding for people like that. You can't behave. Do we want more of him? If the answer is no, don't let him make more. But the Nazis tried that, and you look at the Nazis like, we're doing this for the Aryan race. Hitler and Goebbels both were the two mousiest, smallest looking, most pathetic looking men I'd ever laid eyes on. They were like Major Cuck Patrol, you know what I mean? Ugh. But yeah, that's why the Jews were hated by them, because the Jews are genital mutilators. The Jews believe their God commanded them to change a baby dick. Like, here's the problem. There's a foreskin on every other mammal. So if there's a foreskin on every other mammal, you probably shouldn't take it off. It's deeply rooted in who the person is and how they experience their sensual sexual life. It is. And if you take it off just to prevent them from masturbating, you're like, it's really just like, that's offensive. Like, you care about what I do with my body so much that you would surgically alter me when I'm a baby so I don't do it? Excuse you. You know? I'm This is going to be around for all time. People are going to hear that perspective that they touched my dick with a knife when I was a baby and changed it. I've never had normal feeling sex ever. And then they told me I'm going to hell. And then they fed me a bunch of lies. Like, no offense, if you were on the side of the status quo, I'm your enemy. And for no good, I don't have any good evidence, but you touched my dick when I was a kid, and I know your religion is fake. I don't care who you are, you're on the side of failure. You're on the side of not right. And if I don't stop you, you're going to touch more baby dicks. So I have to stop you. So you stop touching baby dicks. No. No, God told you to do that. 6,000. This place was not non-existent 8,000 years ago. This place existed way longer than 6,000 years ago. So, way longer. You know what I mean? With a different history, too. So the Bible is a hoax. The Bible is a hoax. I know it says the Word of God. I know it says you could trust it. I know all those things it said and promised, but at the end of the day, it was made up. It was a fiction. And you touched my dick over it. You better believe I'm mad. I am so angry it's not even out yet. Like, it's gonna burst in loud shouting at the right time. And it's gonna change it. Global warming hoax. Like, again, Bill Clinton was off fucking 14-year-olds on Pedo Island. Bill Clinton got into office on global warming. It was him and Al Gore. Yeah, every time you bring up global warming, you're just saying you're a Bill Clinton loyalist. And the fraudulent thing, all the predictions it made, 2010, the world would be underwater, never happened. Never happened. More bullshit. Corona, more bullshit. You could even say, like, PTSD, wartime trauma. I don't know if that's bullshit, because that shit is, like, it's obvious. Like, if you can hurt a body, you can hurt a nerve, you know what I mean? So, There might be a magic power that you can regrow limbs, but here's the thing: if the priest really had if the priest was really friends with the Lord of the Bible, who, like that thing used to be, even till recently, that thing was true for me. You know what I found when I was alone looking for God? I didn't find God. I found that stillness doesn't exist in nature. Stillness does not exist in nature. It doesn't exist. Stillness does not exist in nature. It's not in you, and it's not in nature. You know? We're flying through space like 9 different ways at millions of miles a fucking second. You're not still at all. We looked closer and measured better, and we know more than what the Bible said. And we know that when the Bible went off on a limb and said, God's speaking through me, this is how it is, it was made up. Yeah, the Chernobyl disaster, but you can manifest what you believe is real. Doesn't mean God's not real either. I've seen prayers answered. I truly believe it's like God didn't tell anyone what to say with the Bible. Snakes use venom, There are traps in the world. There are plenty of animals that make traps. There's animals that use deceptions. There's animals that use stealth. There's plenty of predators. Religion's a type of predator. Just because it's here doesn't mean it doesn't have to be. Its stories are made up. They're hoaxes. You can't trust them. Anyway. But I have seen that there's an organizing presence that can pull off some stupendous magic, as though it is the owner of reality. So the basic truth that you should find. See, here's the test of the Bible. When the Bible says, I'm going to test you, right? He goes, cut a piece of your kid's dick off, right? You pass the test when you go, what do you know? Who told you to write that? And then it's just this fucking dude standing there who smells like fucking BO, right? It's this dude who eats and shits, who smells like BO, who made it up and said, God told me to tell you that you should do that to babies. That is pretty disgusting, guys. That is really gross. I can't believe I'm living in a world where people tell me that bullshit. This is where you shoot. It is, though. Like, there aren't many areas. You gotta come here and that's it. Sunday. All gunpowder is the same chemical reaction, so it all kind of sounds the same. I can't really tell the difference in calibers. I'm not autistic that way. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm a super intelligent autistic artist. I'll tell you God is real, but no one told the Bible is a total hoax. The Bible is occult mind control written by madmen. It's just not real. Its major themes are total hoaxes. If God didn't stop that from happening to babies, you should really wake up. That's why I guess it is true people saying being careful is the best thing, is because you gotta be. But that's why they did that shit in the Bible, right? That's why they altered baby dicks, was being careful. The care Nazis. It's about, like, someone goes, oh, be careful, be safe. That is the most cruel person on earth. They have no regard for your well-being or safety. They're trying to trip you up, right? Throwing the meanest one they know after you. Yeah, people are full of tricks. I think words are a slave language. As soon as I heard once the elite are all illiterate pedophiles, I was like, oh shit, that makes sense. Because I grew up in Catholicism, but that would mean that you don't need words because words are mind control, and who knows what the other part means. I haven't lived that life. And that's like, it makes sense of why I feel the way I feel, though. It's like my whole life I'm like, why am I fucking alone? Why does everything hurt? Why is everyone yelling at me? Couldn't this just be nice? There was hugs before. Where's that again? You know what I mean? And you realize it's because there's a psycho in the room called the Bible. And it gives itself away because it gives a literal lineage to the beginning of time. And if you look at that lineage, it's different than what the real history of the earth is. And so the Bible's a hoax. And so in my own home, I had a snake called the Bible. It was a giant venomous bug, a parasite, that fed off my fear and manipulated my body and emotions to make me a slave of it. Right? The Bible's a type of disease. It's gross stuff. How dare you touch baby dicks with knives? No one told you to do that. Jesus. The foreskin exists in every other mammal, and let me tell you, it feels like it's missing. I feel the difference. And I'm not like, oh la la, And then they go, so it's more sensitive. What? You cut the force skin off my dick so it's more sensitive? You just made this whole moral story about moral abstinence. What? Oh my god, this thing is fucking fucked up, bro. Holy shit. Bad juju. If you're religious, you're screwed. You know, and I don't need to tell you the reincarnation religions. Yeah, karma's real if you believe it is. But all those reincarnation religions say the earth is like quintillions of years old, and that's not correct either. You know? As soon as they figured out how to measure red-blue light shifting, they suddenly had a picture that had to do with the temporal age of the universe. Yeah, as objects are moving further away, they get more red. And as objects are moving closer, they look more blue. And so what we found is, at least this was true once, is the whole universe was redshifted, which, you know, it is a monkey doing it, so you gotta wait a while to make sure that's really true. People can build their theories into their machines, and their machines will just prove their theories because it's the only working model they have, you know what I mean? So it's a little whatever. I've thought some shit was true that was not true. My dad too. My dad used to hear like, yeah, you know, you're brainwashed when you hear things that aren't what you thought they were as something else. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's a tough conversation. Thanks for sticking with me. If you're here, whoever you are, whenever you are. I'm not sure how things like all my videos have like one view on them. You know, I'm not sure like I think people don't really know what I'm doing. Like, what I'm doing is I'm talking honestly my opinions to history. It's a real vlog. You know, maybe vlogs are like zero popularity. Who wants to hear what someone else thinks? It's just someone else who doesn't know anything complaining about what he doesn't know. You know what I mean? So, anyway, yeah, it is kind of upsetting to wake up to the fact that I'm in like a genital mutilation cult was pulled over my eyes as the truth, and it was done for sex control. And there are secret elite powers. Like, I'm sure Jeffrey Epstein, the reason he went down is he probably knocked against the old blood pedophiles. You know, there's probably rich super families, we don't even know who they are, that basically own, like, they own everything. Like, dad is basically a god. He has whatever he wants, and you know, those people wouldn't be known to you, because if everyone else is doing Christianity and marriage, you gotta kind of hide if you're doing anything else than that, because they will fucking kill your ass. I think it's like it masks, it is hatred, but I think it low key masks jealousy. It's because most people are utterly alone and rejected, right? Like, there are tons and tons of people who never had one good day at school. They were never good enough for anybody, and everyone always made fun of them. Like, are you going to go around like, oh yeah, I respect and care for others? No, you're gonna be like, fuck them. All sorts of people are that way. And so when you realize it's all authority is a big fuck you masked as righteousness. They're generally mutilating children and said God told us to do it, and it's just it's a big fucking joke. It's a big fucking, like, it was a human. A guy named Greg said, "Trust me, bro. God told me to tell you this." And they fucking, as soon as 5 people believed it, that was it. People were throwing themselves to their deaths. Yes, the truth of Jesus. Nobody met him. You know why we know Jesus isn't real? Not that he could be after the first parts of the Bible, but he's not real because uh, the later the book is in the Bible, the more angels were at his tomb. And it goes all the way up until like it's like one angel, then two angels, and then I think it was three angels, and then it was many angels. The later it was, and that's like that with the book of Jacob, with a few other things, is like the Bible winking at you that it's not real, it's made up, right? That it's not. And then you go like, right, this is the book of Matthew. He wasn't at the tomb. How does he know what was there? He's just retelling the story from what he thinks he heard, which is what those people were doing. And, you know, it's the biggest trust me bro of all time. There's only an argument that God would only let it prevail if it was righteous, that he would control his name. And the answer is nonsense. Spend the hours looking in meditation. There ain't no God to find. Anyone says he does that is hoping to get some on the sly or the side, right? I mean, this is where you shoot. If you want to shoot, you do it out here. It's nothing but shotgun shells. Well, yeah, I ain't worried about no killers because of the satellite imagery. Yeah, ever since the 2000s, they've been able to film everything 24/7. So if ever a body turns up, they can literally just follow it like a video, like rewind it and just see what happened. So yeah, it really has, like, since 2000, there's been no serial killers in America. They get caught, or they got to target a populace no one watches. But I'm definitely a watched person. Yeah, people pay attention to me. I don't let them tell me what though. I mean, they touched me dick as a kid and lied to me. Like, fuck them. My mom and dad are both guilty. They're both so guilty of, like, supporting it and taking its side. Like, I can't trust any of their opinions because they mutilated me and told me bullshit. Right? It was awful. They were constantly forcing me to do things I hated. And it hurt even to walk in my own pants because my dick lost its fucking cover. Nature gave you a pocket for, like, a sensitive instrument, right? It said, here you go. This is where it goes when it's not in use. And they just took the pocket off. They said, you don't need that. That's extra. Well, when you get hard, your dick doesn't work right anymore because it needs that extra flesh to stretch. It really was like, yeah, taking big dicks away from men was basically like, you don't deserve to have good love making. That shit's for making a baby. You better not just do it. That's what it was. It was no making kids out of wedlock. We're tired of orphans clogging up the streets because y'all are horny. You know what I mean? We don't know whose this is, right? It was just annoying. It was annoying enough authority did something about it in the name of the Bible, but it's made up. It makes men follow the law too. It attacks their dick, and in the section where it says to do that, it says it's to bind you to the law. You'll live according to the law, right? And it says you'll do it to every newborn when they're 8 days old. Men, all men in every Abrahamic religion get genitally mutilated, or up until, like, past the 2000s. So, you want to know anything about history? That's the thing people aren't talking about. And that's one of the most prevalent psychological forces today is circumcision, both on the assault of a man. Why are men the way they are? They got attacked by a cult. That's why men are the way they are. They got fucking attacked and robbed by a liar, a dangerous liar, like a terrorist, right? Like, that literally the author of the Bible is a terrorist. God told me to tell you that you should change your baby's dick. It said that, and people believed it. It wasn't like people didn't believe it. They all believed it. So that's what time it is. It's fucking clown. It's a bunch of clowns, each trying to steer the planet, and none of them actually is, and none of them actually ever has. Like, astrology's a joke. They thought they. Did you know that the actual constellations, like when they're like, I'm a Sagittarius, you're not. When I was born under the seasonal constellation Sagittarius, which is like a seasonal sign. But I wasn't born under the stars Sagittarius. I was born under the stars Scorpio or Fucus. And that's because the stars have moved over time. Like the whole galaxy, everything is moving and spinning with everything else. It's actually pretty elegant looking. But um, uh, this means that what we see in the sky isn't going to be the same year after year after year after year. And the early guys didn't know that. They pretty much committed the verbal error of saying they were fixed, that the stars were put there and that they had some sort of, like, anchoring was the idea. It wasn't really out yet that, we have a sense of up and down because of gravity. And something like that. Modern thinking hadn't occurred to them, so they created some errors. So do you want me to believe that you actually, like, I went around my whole life, oh, I'm a quadruple Sagittarius, philosopher clown. I'm not the philosopher clown. What it is the guy who was making it up ran out of descriptors, and he's like, he picked two that he found would be fine for a centaur. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know how many, like, professional astrologers I've read, like, you're a centaur, so you're a horse archer, so you like roaming around and shooting things. And I'm like, oh wow, professional astrologer, right, right, feeding guppy cakes to the masses. Ugh. all to get your dollar, because they built scarcity into the economy. Yeah, the people who print the money take some of it every time you use it, and they, in any way you use it, they get some, and then they print the money at your debt. So it's totally like you just totally got beaten, and they go like, "No, the founding fathers said." It's another religion. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. That's all it is. The big trust me, bro. And you could see on history right now, like we just switched to the past 10 years. It's all ancient aliens, like History Channel, and the existential reality of aliens go together. They believe it, which it does. It would be very strange if we were the first ones to wake up in the cosmos. And the way that we've progressed so quickly is it would only take one to wake up at any time, right? There could be a direct to ascendant species, like this blob had hands from the beginning, and they were like, let's build something, let's dig this hole, see what's in there. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, the overwhelming sense of meanness in my own success, like, other men are not my friend. Other men are not my friend. They want my stuff. They want my they want my women, right? They act like they don't, but they do. I've just known enough men that the only setting they have is it's all about me. I'm gonna get it all. That's it. It's the only setting any of them have, and all they have are strategies to do that. So, you know, the people who succeeded are the ones that exist now. It has nothing to do with what was good. It has everything to do with what worked. You know, and maybe that's where human goodness comes from. Humanity would disappear if there was fights to the death constantly. It wouldn't work. It just like it has to be like once every epoch, and then it's like then you can have like a little settling or something. I don't know. Talking out my ass. If my whole point is people didn't know anything, I hope you take that from me. That it's just my opinion and my philosophy given from my perspective, and it's not meant to be overriding. I lost my sexiness since yesterday. What happened? I had it. I had it. Anyway. What else do I want to say? Oh yeah, I keep trying to earn the approval of my mom, and it keeps just like devastating me that I never get it. She was that way. She really was. It says in my astrology she'd be my enemy, but yeah, with the last name Hate, it's too easy for people just to see me and just like decide to hate me. They just decide to hate me. You know what I mean? They just like commit to it. I hope I break the internet. No, I don't. Like, I get no views and only sex bots. Like, I really am just like the lame loser online. Like, no one wants to talk to me. No one cares. I like never woken up with an email or a text or a call or anything like that. I gotta pretty much make love to somebody to get a return email. And it's like, that makes me wonder, like, why it wouldn't just be that way. Like, I can't believe they cut a piece of my dick off. Like, that's the message I had from society was don't you ever fucking use that thing, and so I didn't. They said that's for making a baby only. Well, the joke is that that's because they thought that there was a tiny person in sperm, that it was like the soul was in there, and they called it the homunculus. And what they actually found was that the uh, the sperm is not that. I don't know how else they describe it, but it's not like you're killing a tiny person. And because then there would be trillions, because there's only one person who makes it. Like, imagine that as life, right? You're the winning trillionth sperm. You're the one sperm who is the winner out of trillions, and then all the people have to compete in real life to see who the one winner is. The best women and the best man. You know what I mean? Like, who's actually the best man? Maybe that's why the best man is like the who knows, mating games. They're interesting and disgusting too. Like the whole process of birth is fucking gross. You gotta be duped with hormones to fucking try it anyway. It's too fucking weird. And it is like I love the microcosm series because you can see in these little microcosmic bodies how like early blueprints for bodies, heads, organs, and stuff are, and we're just big worms, right? I'm just a worm. Just a worm. I've kicked a rock before with my foot. Trust me. I went ah. like, retreat, like, no. Those guys who don't feel pain. Yeah, that's kind of alpha, right? Maybe it's better for the species overall, but in my opinion, let's say I don't have no art talent. Like when I get promoted, yeah, people care, but nobody's legging me up in society, not for what I do. They're going, "What?" No, when I spend the money to get promoted, oh yeah, half of them like it, but I got to spend the money. You know what I mean? They're not giving it to me for free. So, that's just what time it is. If it seems like the product's for free, you're the product. Maybe that's what Naruto is, right? Put little mischievous, malevolent ideas in your stories, right? Like, you can show a cartoon at home, it's made by a cartoonist who believes that every family fights and that's normal. So he just shows that so it manifests. So the family does it the next day and then you get a brawl. It's like it's pretty easy to be casually evil with how you put stuff out. But are any of us really good? Like we eat to live, right? People eat to live. There ain't anybody who's out there living off sunlight. And if there is, this is the truth for humanity. You guys want to hear what I think? Don't let them prepare the testing site. But when we prepare the testing site, we're going to, yeah. If any yogi can prove that he doesn't eat when he's naked and checked in a testing site a skeptic produces, the skeptic can't influence the yogi, especially like if he's like if fucking like ambulance first aid technicians are running in every day going, oh my god, are you okay, you're making it, yeah, they can impress upon him an idea. Like he would have to control it mentally, he would have to have like yogic control. The idea of yoga is that through repetition of a mantra and control of your mind, you can basically facilitate first contact with God, and then God will transform you. He'll give you energy. He'll actually make you different, and that these people have superpowers. I actually believe it's possible. I actually believe it is possible. And, but I believe that if you're going to know it for certain, it's going to be a combination of a scientist produced testing site and a person who proves he doesn't have anything with them. Because if they produce the testing site, there's going to be a secret tube filled with nectar nobody knows about. I have seen too many magicians fool full audiences with simple stagecraft to let anybody get one by and say they went 2 years without eating when they just like knew the people who were running it and they had a deal or something. You know what I mean? Like it has to be provable. It has to be like really people who thought it wouldn't happen have to be going, oh my god, he did it. You know what I mean? Like people have to, it has to be a movement behind it. But yeah, we'll see. Because that would mean that he has life sustaining energy beyond even sunlight. Because it could be like, imagine this, creation's so big and there is a god, but because creation's huge, the plants didn't know to do that. The plants were like, we're going to take it from sunlight, and everything else is like, we're going to eat what eats you, and but maybe there's another way, like deep source, the one, fill me, and then you get the special energy that only a conscious being can do when it contacts God, and then it gets a real connection to real energy. That's kind of deep. I kind of like the idea that God would have such a big creation. He's like, what the hell are you? He's never even seen you before, but that's all my imagination, obviously. It doesn't mean it's real. But I have had weird synchronicities. Like, I was like, you fucking retarded vampires. And then I showed up and this kid with Down syndrome wearing a vampire costume, like out of season, was messing with the Pokemon cards. I was like, whoa. Am I being listened to? Am I being followed? Or did God really hear that? It's like, history will know. Yeah, if you could ever get any like video footage of that day, I'm sure it'd be easy to prove that I really saw that too. Walk into Bookman's and then just stop in the doorway and stare at the fucking kid with Down syndrome wearing a vampire costume with a medallion. Like, what? really happened. Like, I took a full 360 look around him. I was like, this shit is real. So, God bless us. God heard what I said, you know? So, that would mean there is a mystical power in the universe. And so, what the Bible contends is that power is not God. That power is actually Satan. Satan's the one that owns here. And that Satan wants God to go down. And that you got to be on God's side, who's the real owner of everything. It's not. It's not unprovable. But I think that it just sounds like, to me, it doesn't make any sense, because what he's trying to do is he's trying to divide your mind. He's trying to make you suspicious of, because the way the spiritual contact happens is it's one bodiedness, it's one emotion, it comes from one place. You don't get to have a spiritual contact that, I mean, it kind of does like destroy your sense of an individual self, because when you go back to being spirit, you're going to go back to being everybody and everything. You're not going to go back to being you. You know, you were everything before you were you, that sort of thing. So, and it's not going to be harsh. There's no like, bad, you were an ego down there. That won't happen. That won't happen. That's all of the morals of the Bible were designed to shake you out of your stuff and make you sexually obedient to the will of the priest, like 100%. 100%. The priest didn't want any men going around touching his girls. 100%. That was all it was. And we know it because it has a fake history. It just missed archaeological finds that would happen later. It just missed them. So it's very interesting. Maybe it's called paleontological. But yeah, the extremely old Earth theory. It's cracking. You know what I mean? Makes being a human interesting. I'm longer eternally being on here like this than I am being. I love you. I like you all. Everyone I've ever known has had the great potential of being liked and loved, but it's usually the fact that they were fighting for the position that made them unlovable. It's like, dang. It's like, oh, the misery. Everyone wants to be my enemy. Well, I'm gonna keep smoking some weed. Thanks for listening to my Naruto conversation. I'm gonna call it just the vlog. It's gonna be a vlog. Man, I love all my content. Yeah. Oh yeah, there was the Charles Manson, Simon Whistler thing. I've been compared to Charles Manson by my parents, but that was like while they were just like I literally couldn't disappear around a corner, and my mom wasn't like, and I had never tried drugs until I was like in my late 20s. I couldn't even disappear around a corner. Where were you? What were you doing? With who? Oh my God! It was every day. It was every day. You know, it was. She was grill master. My mom modeled authoritarianism. And like her grandma grew up in Hitler Youth, right? She did. She grew up in Hitler Youth. My grandma did. She had Hitler Youth. She disappeared right before World War II, I think. If my grandma came to America after World War II, like 1943, then I'm like, oh, I don't really know the literal history. I've been told it, but my family would be liars. They are. I mean, like, let's say you believe the Bible. You're automatically a liar. You've been duped into a lie, and you're telling people you've witnessed something you haven't witnessed. But because of the way they sandbag you into it, they fucking modify your penis and tell you you're going to hell. Like, the Bible literally says, beat children, beat this into children. It tells you to do that, literally, and they've been taking it literally. Like, humanity has just been struck by a big, monstrous lie called the church, and plenty of participants, and we made it through all that shit, too. Because the Bible recommends cleanliness and hard work and law abidefulness. So maybe we have society in words because of it, but, you know, I wish you hadn't touched my dick. Not that way. I think my mom kissed me before when I was a baby. I think that's good. It's a good thing. You know. I've seen nudists before. You know, the what do you call it? The pubic hair is naturally a handhold for children. Yeah. If you're naked around your kids, I mean, like, yeah, your kids want to use that. They'll use that naturally, and it's like that's what it's there for. It's a handhold. Yeah, it's so you don't lose them. You can feel them next to you. You know what I mean? I just saw it. I was the bystander, and I was like, oh dang, I didn't know that. So Yeah. After that it made all their like no touching each other because they do that in school. It's designed to break up the social bond. People are extremely easy to manipulate if they have no social bond to anybody else, but if you let them touch, now they'll have a social bond and now they're strong and they're very hard to move. And so that's why from the very beginning, from the first days of school, they have a no touch policy, no touching others. It slips by. People don't get what it does, but you'll spend years of your life in a bubble where no one will ever touch you and you'll never touch anyone else because it's forbidden. It sucks. It sucks to be alive. As a way to live, it was absolutely horrible. Every day sucked. And that's why I threw my baby photos away, or didn't throw them away, but my baby photos ended up getting fucking lost. Every yearbook I had, didn't care. You guys were just fucking mean to me. You were really mean to me, and then I found out the book that told you to touch my dick was a lie, and your world histories were hiding obvious truths, like the truths of ETs. ETs and occultism go together, folks. You don't get one without the other. And once you get occultism, like I have all these magic stories on here, yeah. So basically, I was born in an occult spell designed by black magicians to slave control the entire planet. That's what I was born into. Talk about a heroic origin story. Sucked, but there it was. Get on your cross and follow me. You fucking. Holy moly. Crazy shit. Yeah, that's my thoughts today. So.